Welcome back, guys. So, I want to congratulate you for staying till this video and making navbar, the landing section, and the footer component along with me. Now, we are finally going to jump on to our main section, which is the challenge section. So, first, let's go with the test container and the try again section in this video so that we can get it done with, because try again is a simple one. So checking out the final application, we are going to have a challenge section as a direct child of our app and a test container as the direct child of our challenge section, which is going to decide which one to render. So this is going to be a conditional rendering inside React. It's going to decide whether to render typing challenge container or a try again. So as you can see here, based on the timer, we are either going to render the first screen, which is the typing challenge container, or the second screen, which is the try again. So try again, as you can see, is quite simple. So let's get the try again one done first. So let's jump on to the coding right away. So coming back to the component architecture, as you can see here, the challenge section is here. So let's first create the challenge section, which we can use directly in our app.jsx. So one directory for one component, it's going to be the challenge section, and let's quickly also make the challenge section.jsx. I'll copy and paste it so that we don't have to paste it, write it again and again. And I'm also going to create one challenge section.css. So it's going to be pretty simple. Let me open this at the side so that we can directly keep checking out the final render on our screen as well. So let's create a simple functional component. It's going to be a simple functional component with the name of challenge section, and it's going to take some information from the props. If you haven't already, do check it out, my first video, the first project, where I talked in depth about what is a state, what are props, and how can we communicate from parent to child, from child to parent, and from siblings indirectly through callbacks and through parent to child and child to parent. So yes, we are going to have inside our try again, as we can see in the final version, inside our try again, we need the final characters, the number of characters, the number of words, and the speed in words per minute. So yes, we are going to pass it on as props here. But for now, let's just hard code it. Let's say we can hard code as 14, 4, and 4. So yes, I am not going to take it inside the props as of now yet. We are going to cover that in further videos. So for now, let's just create a simple structure that we can use and see to build our static section. So let's first of all build a container, which I'm going to call challenge section container. Yeah, that seems to be a good name, challenge section container. Inside that, there's going to be an h1, and I'll call my h1 as challenge section header, challenge section header. And I am going to again keep it one more thing here. I'm going to include the animation, which is data -aos equal to fade down. So this is going to add some small animation to my header text, and I'm going to add a simple thing, take a speed test now. So this one is going to add a simple text below this hero image, and I can now directly use this challenge section inside my app container. Challenge section. Again, VS Code automatically imports it for me. So if it does not for you, you can manually type this section out. So now let's style it a little bit before going further. So yes, I am going to copy and paste the name of this class name of this div. I am going to, first of all, for the whole container, I'm going to give it a minimum height of at least 90 view height. That seems to be good enough. And a flex direction of column, because as you can see in the final app, we need to put it column wise. First element is this, second element is this, so they actually appear in a column fashion or a column manner. And I'm going to align items as center, and I can say margin as 24 pixel and 0. This should be good enough. We are going to also style the header component, which is going to be the challenge section header. And once we have the child component ready, you can easily see the changes that are going to be reflected here. So first of all, we need to align our text as center here, and then we have to put the color. So let's say something around white, like FFF should be good, but that would be too white. So let's go to FB or F6 FB. That seems to be pretty good enough. So that adds a sort of pinkish touch, which looks good on this, at least on this particular style. And again, the font family is going to be bangers, as we have been seeing from quite a lot of time. And font size, how about 64 or 72? I think 64 pixels should do. And letter spacing, of course, in the bangers you have already seen that the letters quite get sandwiched into each other, so it's better to have some good letter spacing as well. So let's refresh this page. And there's one thing that we have not yet imported this in our challenge section, so that's why it's not showing. Import the /challenge section.css. That's very simple, and now it looks super cool. I bet that now you have something really cool that you can show off. And now, but it's not even half ready yet. So yes, let's build another component, which I'm going to call, just for a reminder, the child component of challenge section is going to be a test container. So quickly build test container. The function of test container is going to be to conditionally render the try again or the challenge section, the typing challenge. So very quickly, text container.jsx and text container.css. Very simple. Again, this is going to be quite repetitive for you, I know, but this is the way we make components in React. So yes, but now in test container, I am going to probably take some props, for example words and characters, and probably WPM as the speed. And yeah, that should be good enough for now. And I am going to just return a simple try again container. For the try again container, I am going to add some styles as well, and I'm going to create a new container. So let's quickly style this as well, and for now let's have a simple h1 or something inside that. So this container is going to render our typing challenge container or the try again container based on some boolean or some flag, and I am going to show you how to do that in just a little bit of time. But yes, for now let's try to build the try again container. So I'm going to wrap the try again container inside another div, which I'm going to call try again, let's say container. And then let's have a simple h1 saying this is the try again container, or something like this is the try again. And let's quickly also style these changes. /test container.css. This should be good enough. And let's go back to our styles. So in the test container, so as you can see, test container is the uppermost level. So in the test container, I am going to firstly give the background color as somewhat white, so it can be completely white, so I can give it an FFF. The margins, maybe how about 32 pixel top and bottom, and or maybe 64 pixels top and bottom and 0 pixel sideways margin. But I want to change some sort of width as well. So how about taking a width of 80%? That should be fine. So that will contain our 80% screen at a time, so that I think it's a good enough. And minimum height, I'm going to provide it as, let's say, 800 pixels. I think that should be fine, or 750 pixels should be good enough at least for this. Then display, again I'm going to give it a flex box, and let's give the flex direction of column. So yes, that seems good enough. And a box shadow, very quickly, let's copy and paste the same box shadow that we put it in our nav.css. That should be good enough for this as well. So yeah, I think that should be good enough. Let's quickly remove the unnecessary things here. And test container is here, and we have also imported the styles. Then why is it not showing? Probably because we have not yet used the test container inside our challenge section. So let's do one thing very quickly. Let's go inside our challenge container, and just below the h1, let's use the test container. and now that should be fine enough. Yes, this looks super cool. Inside the challenge section, let's also give some words, as let's say 4 characters, let's say 14, and let's say WPM as, how about 20 or something. That should be good enough. And as you can see, this is also not yet completely aligned center. So yes, we can either do it using flexbox, or I have a hacky way as well. Since we already gave it the width of 80%, so the whole screen is 100% and this is of 80%. So very easily we can provide it as a margin left of 10% to make it at a center. So yes, either way is fine with me. Like, it's completely up to you. You can either go to the parent of this test container and make it a flexbox and then align it using justify content, or yes, justify content should work in this case. And or either you can just do a quick margin left at 10% here, and that should actually do the thing. So let's do very quickly, let's make our try again component as well. So before that, let's do some quick styles for the try again, so that we can align it in the center. So as you can see, it's aligned at the top. So for now it's aligned in the top, but we can make it to come to the center very easily. Let's make some stylings for try again container as well. I'm going to copy and paste it from here, and I am going to paste it here. Firstly, I'm going to make it flex grow as 1, because I want it to occupy the whole screen as in all the area inside the test container. Then I am also, firstly, yes, of course, we need to give it a display of flex, and then we can also give a flex direction of column, because as you can see here, the elements are column wise aligned. So yes, I am going to give a flex direction of column, and then a justify content of center, so that it can be justified in the middle. So yes, now we are finally ready to actually build our try again section, or the try again component. So very quickly, let's make one more component here, try again, and I am going to make a JSX file for it, JSX. I'm also going to make a CSS file for it, tryagain.css, and inside the JSX, very quickly, I am going to make another functional component and name it as try again. For now, let's do the try again container or something like that, container, and inside this, let's fix some indentation. And yes, so inside this, as I showed you, we are first going to show a header which is going to show the test results, and we are going to show the results, which are characters, words, and speed, and then 3 social media share buttons. So very easy, it's going to be very easy. No, it's just some simple HTML. So firstly, I'm going to add h1, which is going to be the test results. Then I'm going to add the result container, which is going to have some p tags, which is paragraphs. Inside this, inside bold, I am going to show the characters, and those are going to come from our props. So as you can see, this try again is going to be a child of test container. Inside test container, we already have words containers and word WPM, so we can copy and paste it as it is. So for now, let's just do it as 4, and let's just test it out whether it works or not. So I am going to open my test container.jsx, and inside that, just below this is the try again. Instead of this is the try again, I am going to call the try again component itself, and then again I'm going to just pass those props on as it is. Words are going to be words, characters are going to be characters, and WPM is going to be WPM. Very simple. And inside here, I can use it just like this. So here now you are understanding the redundancy that comes along with this unidirectional data flow of React. It's going to be quite redundant, that firstly we are passing on the words, characters, and WPM from our challenge section to test container. Inside our test container, we are as it is passing it to try again, and then there we are going to show that. So that is super redundant. So these things can be cured with the help of Redux, and don't worry, we are also going to learn about Redux in our upcoming project, so I'm super excited about it. But for now, I think this should do. Characters, and then similarly, let's copy and paste this for words and speed. Let's do it for words, let's change it to characters, and let's change it to speed. So for the words, I am going to add the words, and speed WPM, and I'm going to append it by WPM as well, so that shows the user this is going to be in words per minute. And then we need to add some social media buttons as well. Again, this is going to be a simple HTML exercise. You can directly skip this section if you want, if this feels way too boring to you, and you can directly go to my GitHub repository. Inside this, github.com/theleanprogrammer, and inside this you can just go inside this flash type, and there you can find all the code. So you can just copy and paste this code from there if you want, because I know it's going to be very redundant, and trust me, I don't want to waste your time. But this is the first time because that I am doing this, because you are going to practice making components just like this. So if from the next project itself, I am going to start giving you some boilerplate so that we can reduce the time which we spend in making these redundant components and HTML stuff and all, so that we can just get rid of them. So yes, but for now, let's practice on making them, because this is important as well. So yes, for now, let's wrap our container. Let's wrap our social media buttons inside a container as well. And first of all, let's have a button for retry, and inside this I am going to, of course, give it a class name. Let's say first of all, I want to have 3 buttons, and for all the 3 buttons, the stylings are somewhat similar. So I am going to give them a common class as well as a different class to give them some different styling as well. So the common class could be end buttons or NBTN or something like that, and a different class that is going to provide the colors and some different things that is going to make the buttons differentiate from each other. So as you can see, there are some common styles as well as some different styles. So some common styles can be given to end buttons, and the different style can be given to the custom class names BTN. This looks good enough. Let's have one more button, or maybe 2 more buttons. So firstly, in this button, I am going to write F share or Facebook share, or maybe simply share, and inside that I'm going to give it a class name of, let's say, end buttons again, and share BTN. And one more thing, let's quickly implement the functionality as well. So for this, I am going to have an on-click event handler with a function, and inside that function I am going to call a quick function which is going to be window.open. So as soon as someone clicks on this particular button, we are going to open a new window, and inside that new window, the URL is going to be simple. Just type it along with me: https://www.facebook.com/sharer. So this is the URL which Facebook provides us, /sharer.php, and the query string is going to include a parameter which is called u, and u is going to be equal to it could be something, let's say anything, check it out or something like that, like anything, like let's say let's just go for TLP. I'm going to add theleanprogrammer.com/AAM. This looks quite good enough. For the target, it's going to be the Facebook share dialog, and we also have to wrap it inside the double quotes. So this is not something related to our course, so you can very easily skip this as well. I'm just adding some cheese on top of our creation, so that it looks good and it looks actually production ready. So yes, width 800 and height of 600 should be good enough, I think, for at least for now. So yes, we have a retry and share. You can also try out share button and it's going to work. And just one more thing, I am going to add a Twitter button as well. Again, the same thing, button with the class name. One class name is going to be same, the end buttons, and one class name can be the tweet button. And again I am going to give it a name of tweet, and the on click handler I am going to provide it as same thing, window.open, and inside window.open I am going to provide something very similar. It's going to be another URL which is going to be https. In this case it's going to be twitter.com/intent/tweet. So again, you don't need to worry about this. This is a URL which Twitter provides us. Text is going to come inside our query parameters, and it can be something like, for example, how about theleanprogrammer.com? Looks quite good enough for me. And something very similar, let's copy and paste this itself for now. I am going to just rename this to tweet or something like that. Twitter looks good enough. Yes, and now you can even check it out. Let's click on this one, and as you can see, it opens my Twitter account, and it also opens this particular link. It types in the link which we have written there. So this is super amazing. I'm really happy with the progress that we have made. And before ending this video, let's just do one more thing. Let's quickly add in the stylings for all of these things. So inside our tryagain.css, firstly let's quickly import the tryagain.css.tryagain.css, and let's go inside this. First of all, we have to style the tryagain container. As always, I am going to give it a display of flex and a flex direction of column, because we have to show it column wise. I am going super fast, I know, because I have lot more than exceeded the time of one video. So yes, even I know you don't like big videos, but for now I actually wanted to cover all the boring stuff inside a simple video. I know it's long, but forgive me. So inside the try again container, we for the h1 tag, I am going to provide some simple style, which is going to be, first of all, text decoration can be underline, and then margin can be 0, of course. Yep, and font size can be 36 pixel. That looks good enough. And margin bottom could be, we can provide some margin at the bottom so that the other p tags are not directly sandwiched inside that. So yes, now the p tag is wrapped inside our result container. So let's do this very similar to the thing that we did for h1. I'm going to give it a font size of 20 pixel. You can increase it if you want. I am going to also give it a margin of 7 pixel at all sides. And now comes the main thing, the end buttons. So this is going to be a little bit big, because we have to style our buttons in a very good way. So let's just copy and paste this class name so that I don't make any spelling mistake here. And I am first of all going to give a position of relative. Then I am going to give it a margin of, let's say, 12 pixel. Then I am also going to give it a border of none, so that it's not showing any border. Then I'm also going to give it a border radius of, how about 4 pixel? That seems good enough. Let's see how it looks like. Yeah, it looks pretty cool as of now. Let's see what's the end result. The end result is somewhat like this. So yes, we still have a long way to go. So firstly, it looks, let's provide a good enough width to it. It looks very bad as of now. So let's give it a width of, or maybe min width of 64 pixels should be good enough, or now at least, and a padding of at least 2 pixels top and bottom and 16 pixels right and left. That seems good enough. And also we are going to vertically align it at middle. This is not actually required, it will automatically do that, but I think it should do that. But yeah, let's try it out. Alright, and color should be, the text color should be FFF, that should be good. And let's also provide some box shadow as always. Let's go back to nav.css and copy and paste this, and don't feel any compulsion to copy and paste this. You can just Anyhow, you can always play around with this to see what kind of box shadows you want. Font size, I'm going to give it of at least 18 pixels to make it bold and good enough. Font weight, I'm going to give it bold, or let's say 500. Line height of how about 36 pixels. And cursor, so that we whenever we move on top of it, it becomes a pointer. And then again, we need to, as soon as we move on it, we need to change the background color, but instant change looks bad enough, so I'm going to give it a small transition. So in my previous project, you must have learned about a little bit about transitions. So this is something similar of, let's say, 0.2 seconds. And this looks superb. And now let's provide some colors to the individual buttons. So for start again button, I am going to provide a background of something darker. How about 3E4248? Yeah, that looks good. Let's see how it will look. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And let's also change it on hover and on focus, comma dot start on focus. I am going to change its background to the background is enough. Yeah, I'm going to change its background to a little bit light, which is 80. That seems good enough. Let's see, this is awesome, this is superb. And now let's do the same thing for share button and for tweet button, and then we will be good to go for the next sections. I know it became a little bit big and a little bit boring as well, but trust me guys, this is how we learn. By practicing, we learn how to make all those components and how to structure our application. So yes, this is the color of Facebook. I think so yeah, this is somewhat similar. I'm not sure whether it's exactly the color or not. And let's do the same thing for our hover and focus. I'm going to change the background to a little bit more light. Let's say 1DA1F2. That should be good enough. And this looks superb. And just one last change for today, and we will be done for the day. Not for the day, for the video. I hope you guys are having fun in this video. This is super exciting to build something completely from scratch, isn't it guys? Yes, of course it is. So yes, for the tweet button, I am going to provide a background of about the same thing. This actually looks good enough to me for the tweet. Or if you want, you can change this color if you want. Like, okay, you might be saying that, oh, what, we don't want the same color, so let's change it to something else. For example, I'm just going to put some random bluish color here. So let's say 5D7C or C4. How about this? Let's try it out. It's looking awesome. And just one final thing, on hover and on focus, we are going to provide some lighter color and the background for this as well. How about 8F? This is also going to be a little bit bluish in terms, but little lighter. AE and F3. This looks good enough and awesome. We are done with our test results, and as you can see, if you reload it, it is including the animations as well, which is super duper amazing. When I click on tweet, it opens the tweet as well. So yeah, this is awesome. Let's end this video here and see you in the next video. Bye bye. Take care.